Alright? So where does all this nationalism come from? All this patriotism? Well, to understand it, to understand why there are nationalists and patriots in Britain, you have to understand what British society is, how it's run, who runs it. Britain is a capitalist state run by a super rich ruling class. That's a tiny minority of people, but they are very centralised and very dominant because they have wealth, huge amounts of wealth. Wealth is power in a capitalist state. A capitalist nation state is what Britain is. And these people have all this power. But at the same time as they have immense power, they have a great weakness. And their weakness is they absolutely rely on the majority of poor, oppressed workers. Because workers do everything in society. We make everything happen. We create the wealth through our labour in the workplaces. So this rich and powerful minority are dependent on the poor majority for their power and their wealth. Now, if that poor majority ever became conscious of its own oppression, conscious of the way a ruling class exploits it for profit, then that poor majority, the working class, might rise up against that rich minority and take the power from them and share the wealth. So, of course, the rich minority need tactics to keep the poor majority down and unconscious. They need to keep the majority, the working class, divided and politically ignorant as much as possible. Of course they do. Imagine if they didn't. Imagine if they educated us politically and told us what they were up to and how they rule. They wouldn't last 5 minutes. We'd just get rid of them. So they have to fucking feed us bullshit, endless bullshit. Their ideology is fed to us all the time, constantly. When we're very young, we get it. Union Jacks, St. George Cross, the Queen, the Royals, Buckingham Palace, way, England football team, all this nationalism. The army, we're told the army is great. Patriotism, militarism. We're encouraged to think this way. And it goes on, and through our regular experiences in everyday culture, we become conditioned to believe in British nationalism or English nationalism, and to be patriotic, and to fly the flag, and to see Britain as one big happy family. And also to see foreigners as a threat to this big happy family. Remember the foreigners? Yeah, this rich minority, they need an enemy, don't they? They need a threat. They need a scapegoat, a bogeyman. They've got to keep telling us about the bogeyman, the nasty threat. It's a distraction. It's a fucking distraction from the rich ruling class and the power they have over us, the working class. It's a distraction. They have to scapegoat, otherwise we might look at them and blame them, you know? So this super rich elite, this minority at the top of society that keeps us all oppressed and exploited, it feeds us nationalist ideas, it feeds us racist ideas, it makes us patriotic, and it makes us hateful towards other sections of our own class. It divides us to weaken us, to keep us exploited and oppressed. It has to do that, because if it didn't do that, we'd rise up and get rid of them. That's inevitable. So they have to do it. And they do it very efficiently, very effectively. You know, you only have to speak to a patriot and listen to what they've got to say. And it's awful, man. It's tragic, because these so-called patriots who live and breathe in amongst the working class, who are part of the working class, the stuff in their head and the stuff that comes out their mouth is just ruling class ideology that's been fed into them to ensure that they constantly betray their own class. That's what patriots do. It's sad. It's very sad that patriots are out there dividing their own class, and by doing so ensuring that all of us remain poor and oppressed. Patriots are doing the work of our rich oppressors. We need to convince the patriots to think class, not country. Britain isn't a big happy family at all. It's a class system with a ruling class dominating the working class. You shouldn't be on the side of your rulers. You should be on the side of the workers, the working class that you were born into, that you're part of. You should see the ruling class as your enemy, not foreigners, not poor foreigners. They're not the enemy. They don't have power over you. Your rulers, your rich rulers have power over you. They're bullying you every day, oppressing you every day. So, patriots, join the working class movement. You can have your flags if you want. Does no harm if it's done with niceness and not hate. But fucking hell, remember whose side you're on, man. The workers, not the rich capitalist scum. Anyway, see you in the next one. Tatty bye and bonjour.